Okay, video number 2. All right, so we were talking about the diffuser. So basically, yeah, it breaks up the sound so that it doesn't all bounce back at the same time. We could get into a physics lesson and talk about phasing and things like that, but we'll save that for another time. Speaking of room treatment, we've got these big blocks, big squares. Okay, I don't know my shapes. These are actual rectangles. Some of them are hanging from the ceiling. You noticed here, okay? So that's also room treatment that actually absorbs sound. So these absorb sound to make sure that there's not a lot of like echo and reverb, what we would call reverb in the recording world here. So that also kind of focuses the sound. Got my trusty tambourine. Never know when you're going to need that in a track, you know. Got my walnut mountain dulcimer with the hummingbirds on it. This one is the one I was talking about a few weeks ago that I acquired for $15. Really, really beautiful sounding mountain dulcimer there. But yeah, so those are some of the room treatment things that are going on. Of course, you got the mood lights. We talked about that. Here's one of my violins. This is the one I play all the time. This is Niccolò Serafini. It's got the Damask Infeld dominant strings on them. Of course, everybody wants to see the guitar collection. Woo! This is my Ibanez AM73. This is a semi-hollow guitar. What I mean by that, it's hollow on the top and the bottom here. If you look in the inside, it's kind of got a slab of wood down the center of it. So it's pretty cool. Got my Fender Telecaster here. It's got the beautiful binding. This one's actually a J5. We're gonna set this one aside here for a second. This is a Dean Evo Checkmate, Dean Evo Deluxe. It's got the flame maple. It's actually got coil taps. So you turn these humbuckers into single coil pickups just by pulling these little tone knob and volume knobs out. Pretty cool there. Everybody's got to have a bass guitar. Drop it low. And of course, you've seen that acoustic guitar, and I think you've seen that acoustic guitar before as well. So those are some of the whoops, ow. Yeah, don't try that at home. So those are some of the probably knocked them in a tune, I'm sure. Those are some of the electric guitars there. So we'll move on to, let's see here. All right. To the microphone collection. This is what most producers, engineers want to see. So when they talk about, hey, show me your studio, one of the first things that they always say outside of outboard gear, this is outboard gear. I don't do a whole lot of outboard gear because I do a lot of stuff in the digital world, which is fine. That's kind of how things are done nowadays. But outside of that, a lot of people, want to see the microphone collection. So, woo! Guitar collection is also cool, but microphone collection is where it's at. So I'll show you kind of my microphone collection. Well, some of my microphones, not all of them, but anyway, these are the main ones that I use. So I've got Bluebird, made by Blue. It's a condenser mic. I've got a Warm Audio U47 or 87, clone. Everybody's got to have a SM7, ST55. This is a hand wound ribbon mic made by Cascade. This is what I'm definitely going to use on violins. Acoustic guitars also sound really good with this. I typically go for acoustic guitars on this. This is a broadcast mic, but it's also great on vocals. This is actually the type of mic that they would have used for Michael Jackson's Thriller album. So people who sing really loud, opera singers, screamers, people like that, That's the mic to use for that. They're very, very, very dynamic. That's the mic to use for that. This one's going to copy a Neumann U87. So this one's a little bit brighter. So if I've got somebody that's kind of got a dark vocal and it needs to cut through a mix, that's what I'm going to use is the Bluebird. Because I need it to kind of pop, through the mix there. Then of course I've got, the amp collection. This is a little bass amp I've got going here, a little acoustic amp. I've also got a Marshall. This is what I mic to play through when I put a microphone on it for my guitars in a lot of my songs. Sometimes I'll go through the 11 rack as you saw earlier, but yeah, so that's actually sitting in the what we call the vocal booth, which is actually just the tracking room. So I've got a cedar wall outside here, 2 layers of glass, which actually needs to be cleaned. So in here, again, more room treatment. One of the panes of glass kind of is at an angle so that the sound bounces up and doesn't interfere with what you're tracking. So this is where like a singer would go. They would put on this pair of headphones right here, and then they would sing into a microphone. Of course, the microphone's not set up right now, but they would sing into a microphone, and we can see each other from here to there, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, okay, it's time to sing, okay," and they can hear everything in their microphone and know when to start singing. So that's what you do. That's what you do there. Pretty cool. One of the coolest, funniest things that ever happened actually in the studio is I've got, somebody gave me this really cool skateboard deck. I used to skateboard years ago, back when I was in high school. Skateboard, rollerblade, ice skate, all that kind of stuff. I was not like awesome at it. I didn't do tricks. I just skateboarded just to get from point A to point B. But somebody gave me the skateboard. It doesn't have wheels or anything like that. From 41.7 skateboards in Springfield. But it's got John Lennon on it. If you can see here, I've got John Lennon on it. And I had a student that showed up and they said, "Why is Harry Potter on your skateboard?" Fair enough. John Lennon kind of looks like Harry Potter. Didn't think about it before. Did kind of catch me off guard there. I used to have Aislinn license plates for Aislinn recordings. Those ended up in my studio. Several artists that have been here have been Jake Wesley Rogers, Rookie of the Year, Romance on a Rocket Ship. Kaylee Spaney's been here. Ignore this dirty chair. I need a new chair. So this is kind of just a little room, just a little place that I hang out and make some music. And it does take a lot of time to put together a song. It takes a lot of time to edit the song. It takes a lot of time to mix the song and master the song and get it ready for iTunes. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of fun. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes it's very rewarding. Most of the time it's very, very rewarding, but it takes a little bit of time. But just like with anything that's worth doing, it's going to take a little bit of time and effort and patience. And I think that if it's something that you really want to do, you should do it, like playing guitar or playing piano or anything really. But anyway, just wanted to say happy birthday. I really hope that you guys are finding yourself occupied and, practicing guitar. I know that this is going to be temporary. It, maybe a little bit, but I mean, in the end, we'll all get back together and have our fun Sunday afternoons with learning new songs and those kind of stuff. And then maybe someday we'll have you come in and record a song in the studio and do something really cool. Maybe somebody else that sings in your family can maybe sing on it and do some really cool fun stuff. So by the way,